Today, we're going to explore some of the biggest questions we can ask ourselves, and we're going to do it by looking at the work of a psychiatrist, a man of science, who found some pretty mind-blowing answers in a place he never, ever expected. And it all starts with a few simple, but very heavy questions. Think about this for a second. If everything we do, everything we are, just poof, disappears when we die, then what's the point of all the effort? And right on the heels of that comes this one. If you can't take any of it with you, the house, the car, the achievements, why do we work so hard for it all? Why go through the struggle? When you get right down to it, these questions really hit at the core of our sense of purpose. If our physical body is the beginning and the absolute end, then what does it all mean? The good times, the bad times, the whole journey. It's a tough thought. But one doctor found a possible answer, and it came from a very, very unlikely source. All right, so let's get into the story. The person at the center of all this isn't some new age guru or an ancient philosopher. Nope, he's a highly trained, highly respected medical doctor. Let me introduce you to Dr. Chen Sheng-Ying. Look at these credentials. Graduate of Taiwan University Medical School, a neuropsychiatrist certified in the US, even a clinical associate professor at USC. So this is a man grounded in science. And here's the other really important piece of the puzzle. He was a Christian. This meant his entire worldview was built on a very specific foundation. And he's totally upfront about it. He said it himself. The whole idea of past lives, karma, reincarnation, that just wasn't part of his world. It was completely outside his belief system. He was through and through a skeptic. But then, something started happening in his office that his science and his faith just couldn't explain. Get this. He's using hypnosis to treat his American patients for everyday issues like anxiety. And suddenly, under hypnosis, they start speaking what experts later identified as ancient Chinese dialects. These are people who had never been exposed to these languages in their entire lives. He couldn't just brush this off. It was a direct challenge to everything he thought he knew about the mind. It forced him to ask a pretty radical question. If these memories aren't from this life, then where in the world did they come from? So you can see the problem he was facing, right? This just didn't fit into any conventional box. If these past lives were real, how could memories, languages, and experiences be carried over from one life to the next? Dr. Chen's search for an answer led him straight to a concept he already knew well, but in a totally new way: the subconscious mind. Dr. Chen's work basically turns the idea of the subconscious on its head. He started to think that maybe it's not just a place for our hidden memories from childhood. Maybe it's more like a timeless hard drive, a massive archive that stores every single thing a soul has ever experienced across all of time. To make this idea easier to wrap your head around, he used a really brilliant analogy. Okay, think about it like this. Your body, that's the computer hardware. It's the physical machine, right? You need it to function in the world, but eventually it gets old, it breaks down, it's temporary. But your soul, your subconscious, that's the software. It holds all the data, all the files, all the memories. So when the hardware, the body, is gone, the software, with all of that precious information, is still perfectly intact, just waiting to be installed on a new machine. So you're probably wondering, okay, if all that data is there, why don't I remember being a knight or a baker or whatever? Well, according to Dr. Chen's findings, that's not a bug, it's a feature. Imagine the chaos if we remembered all the old heartbreaks, all the old triumphs, all the old enemies. It would be totally overwhelming. This forgetting lets us start fresh, so we can focus on the specific things we're supposed to be learning right now in this life. Now, what Dr. Chen discovered through his patients' accounts was that this whole cycle of life, death, and rebirth isn't some chaotic, random process. Far from it. There seems to be a clear and consistent set of rules, you could even call them cosmic laws, that govern the whole thing. A system of cause and effect that you probably know by another name: karma. So let's break down how this cosmic accounting system seems to work. First, lessons have to be learned. Think of your life's biggest struggles as a personalized curriculum. And if you don't pass the class this time around, well, you'll have to repeat it in a future life. Second, forgiveness is the only way to clear a debt. Trying to get revenge just digs you deeper, tying you to that person across lifetimes. The only way out is through compassion. Third, the universe is a perfect mirror. What you put out, you get back. Generosity is like an investment with guaranteed returns. And finally, and this one is so important, your actions don't cancel each other out. You can't do a bunch of good deeds to erase a bad one. Every single action has its own consequence, good or bad. The books have to balance. Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds a bit like a cosmic system of reward and punishment. But hang on, because this next part is maybe the most incredible, most empowering piece of the whole puzzle. It suggests we aren't just puppets of fate. We are the architects of our own lives. So here's what the accounts from Dr. Chen's patients suggest. Between lives, our soul basically sits down for a performance review. With the help of beings they called spirit guides, think of them as mentors or counselors. We look at what we've learned and what we still need to work on. And then we choose. We choose the big lessons for our next life, like patience or forgiveness. And then we actually pick the circumstances, the parents, the body, the challenges that will give us the best possible opportunity to learn that lesson. The whole point every single time is spiritual growth. This is the real game changer. What this means is that from this perspective, there are no accidents. There are no victims. That really difficult family member, that frustrating job, that physical limitation you have, those things weren't just randomly assigned to you. They were chosen by you as the perfect spiritual gym to build the exact soul muscles you decided you needed to strengthen. And that is exactly why this physical life is so unbelievably precious. It's not just some random blip in the cosmos. It's a rare and amazing chance to learn, to balance the books, and to consciously evolve. It is the main event for our soul's journey. So I want to leave you with this thought. If you just entertain this idea for a minute, it changes everything. Those things in your life that drive you crazy, the biggest obstacles you face, what if they aren't punishments? What if they're assignments? Assignments that you, on a much higher level, gave to yourself. If you look at your life right now, what lesson do you think you came here to learn?